no introduction. There's a lot that I would like to speak with you guys about. Can't wait to hear your feedback. A lot of lies that are being put out there, narratives that I would say are half truths or just misrepresentations entirely. And I don't really see the reason for that. First and foremost, to let you know, last week was not a dream. Charlie Kirk, my friend, is dead. And he was publicly executed. I want to make that clear. Charlie Kirk was publicly executed before the world. And as we were all searching for
which is very true. And shout out Acid Burn. He says, is Comet 3i Atlas traveling 211,000 miles per second, an alien spaceship? It's very high energy. I have heard about that, and because I am a space nerd.
What?
Yeah,
what?
I know. You
Hold on.
heard about it? Look it up.
Comet 3 Atlas.
Yeah. Apparently yeah.
Because it's like moving trajectories or whatever.
Yep. But we'll get into that on Conspiracy Hour. Let's keep it going.
Answers, the ones that are being supplied to us, are not making a lot of sense. And some people, I would say, are speaking too much, are speaking on behalf of other people. I don't like it. I will say something that I think brought the world a lot of relief, also, sadness. We were grieving with her, was when his wife, Mrs. Erica Kirk, addressed not just the nation, but the entire world. Her words were very powerful. And we just have a very brief portion of her remarks, which you should pursue in their entirety. But here she is.
If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country. In this world. You have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife.
Mm-hmm.
The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die.
I swear.
Beautiful, powerful
I don't like watching
words.
women cry.
Charlie had just one wife. What we got to see across this weekend is that there were so many people around the world, like she said, who were deeply moved by Charlie Kirk throughout their lives, and of course have been deeply moved by this tragedy. And what she is describing there, that fire, a lot of us are feeling it. I am definitely feeling it. I had a very tough weekend, I will say this. My entire life, I've not been much of a crier. It is not my choice emotion. I'm not a person who bursts into tears, and some people are like that. This weekend, I didn't just cry. I wept. I wept for Charlie. Obviously, I didn't make it through the tribute to him on Friday. And for those of you who wanted to see me in a moment of weakness, that was delivered to you. Fair. Yeah, I watched my friend get shot in the neck. Yeah, that's what happened. I just want to say that he was publicly executed again before the world. The question is why, right? When you are in a state of grief, you go through a lot of emotions, and I'm arriving right now at a lot of anger, the audacity of some people. It has taken much restraint and prayer, and I had to speak with a priest. I had to go to confession.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't scorch the earth on the entire left media.
I have kind of grown away from Candace because of some of the positions she held. But when I saw her upset and crying, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all right.
These emotions that I am having, wanting to respond with Charlie in his own words, really. People that are coming forward and saying this is what he thought and this is how he should be remembered. It just feels really inappropriate to me. I didn't know what to do other than to scroll through messages between me and Charlie, regarding which there are a ton of them. And kept going back and watching the many videos of us dancing to the song Power. And it felt appropriate to reach out to Ye, speaking about things, talking about his mode when he wrote the song. When you wrote the song Power, why did we have it as our hype song? Because The song is about the ability to find it within yourself to become what you know you are capable of becoming inside of a matrix, when you just realize everything is dishonest, that everything is performative, that people are dishonest, that they are going to try to stop you from being great. In fact, it's the end of the song, the question that he asks at the end of the song, that's the most important. Ye asks, do you have the power to let power go? Do you have the power to say no to power? You know, I told you guys that Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation at the end, and all of the usual suspects were really angry that I hinted towards that. What do you mean? You're not allowed to say that. They were attacking me, trying to make me fearful to speak out and speak about the things that I know. I'm not feeling very fearful right now. I am, like I said, very angry. And I found, Charlie's favorite portion of the song. I'll show you the text between him and I, because this feels very relevant right now. This is, again, lyrics directly from the song Power, but I just needed time alone with my own thoughts, got treasures in my mind, but couldn't open up my own vault. My childlike creativity, purity, and honesty is honestly being crowded by these grown thoughts. Reality is catching up with me. Taking my inner child, I'm fighting for custody with these responsibilities that they entrusted me. And that's a moment where he is really speaking about how hard it is. Like when you're saying, no, this is what I believe. And they say, you're not allowed to believe that. You feel like you are fighting for custody of yourself. And I want to be very clear that I believe, in fact, I know that towards the end, Charlie was fighting for custody of himself. I want to say that. I want to say that plainly. And there are lies that are being told and they need to be slapped down right now. There's one person who's been out there acting like he is a widow, just saying the absolute most, tweeting first about what happened to Charlie, following it minute to minute, and doing hits in a foreign country, right? Like making time to do hits on Fox News, 2 of them. Bibi Netanyahu who's fighting, I think, like an 84 front war with everyone, made a lot of time for Charlie Kirk. You would have thought they were the best of friends, as close as him and Trump were. But I will say,
I mean, that man, Bibi done bombed almost every country in the Middle East within this year. It's crazy.
Recall Erica mentioning Bibi Netanyahu in her speech. The way he's presenting it is like he was I mean, this is just the worst loss for him, but I don't think that is the truth.
Would he have had a chance to meet Charlie with the times that he was at the White House?
Nah, not really. Because like when he came through, to be honest, he's a real pompous ass, and so is his wife.
Yeah.
So they would like want like the royal treatment. So just not. Yeah. So when BB came through, only important people.
Right.
Or those who wanted to spread the propaganda, allegedly.
Right.
All right.
That happened there towards the end. So let's at first listen to what Bibi Netanyahu, just one day, less than 24 hours after Charlie died, what Bibi Netanyahu had to say on Fox News. Take a listen.
We're just heartbroken. Myself, my wife, my family, my son actually, on his 2019 visit to Israel, had lunch with him and his wife, Erica. We're shattered first as human beings because a great human being has been taken from us. He's an extraordinary.
Yo.
Hold on. Do you see Virginia McCabe?
Nah.
Go up there.
Yeah, what's up? Oh, these are the black people that don't cry for the black people that get murdered every night. Bro, shut the hell up. All right, shut the hell up. Because, like, dog, I was literally going off on that for about 2 weeks straight about how Trump needs to bring the National Guard in Chicago to stop all this black on black violence. Like, I literally played a video 4 minutes straight of nothing but black on black violence and talk about how horrible it was. Shut the hell up.
You know why? Because even though it was a white on white crime, they got to bring race into it somehow.
It has to. It somehow has to have race. And this is why we laugh at you. I don't even get mad anymore. Now I just laugh. It's like you're fucking ridiculous. But continue. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Friend, You know, he said, he wrote me a letter on May 2nd this year. He said, one of my greatest joys as a Christian is advocating for Israel and forming alliances to defend Judeo-Christian civilization. A few weeks before the tragedy yesterday, I called him and I spoke to him and I said, please come to Israel. I invited him to Israel. And sadly, that visit will not take place. But he was a defender of our common Judeo-Christian civilization. He was unbelievably excited to walk in the footsteps of Jesus here. He valued our bond, the bond between America and Israel. He did so many things to defend free speech. He had his truth. He stood up for it. But he said, you can come and debate me. He invited that debate. He certainly didn't invite the violence, the horrible violence that tried to silence him. And, you know, this is a worldwide problem. The people on the extremes, the Islamists, the radical Islamists, and their union with the ultra progressives, they often
What does this
speak
have to
about
do with
human
Charlie
rights. They
Kirk?
speak about free speech, but they use
Like, bro, why do you gotta spin the propaganda every time? Like, what did the Islamists got to do about
It's like, yeah, Charlie Kirk died. He was killed by a white guy. He wasn't killed by an
actually?
Islamist.
And you know the worst part about it is, like, I actually was hearing that type of rhetoric. Like, what was it? Maybe like hours after the assassination. Everybody, I bet it was an Islamist. I bet it was an Islamist. I'm like, what's wrong with you guys? What's
I
wrong with
never
you?
thought that ever.
No, I knew it was. I would not have been surprised if they would have had pink hair.
Man, like, look, man. Let me know when Tony Robinson gets assassinated. Which, God forbid. But when that happens, then we can talk about Islam.
No. I don't. I am one that personally does not want to see him get the death penalty or get assassinated. I want him to spend the rest of his life getting just views, or like people sending him videos of the message that he tried to snuff out growing and getting bigger.
Mm.
That's how I feel about it. But
all right,
violence to try to take down their enemies, whether it's President Trump, who's been almost assassinated twice, or they try to kill me here too. But they got Charlie Kirk, and it's just heartbreaking.
Who is they, BB? Who is they who got Charlie Kirk? We don't have to actually speak conspiracies. I'm just wondering, because you said a lot there, but it really sounded like it was about BB trying to establish a narrative that we saw reinforced by a lot of people, that, Charlie kind of made it almost sound like he died for Israel. I mean, Trump's account even tweeted out a photo of Charlie and an American flag and also an Israeli flag, a bit of AI used, like this is just who Charlie was. He says Judeo-Christian values. He spoke to him 2 weeks ago. Again, you would think he was busy fighting this 97,000 front war, but no, he's letting you know that he just randomly picks up the phone and calls Charlie Kirk and invites him to Israel. How would BB do that? It seems like maybe there's a little more to the story. No, there definitely is a little bit more to the story. First and foremost, that letter he is holding up, he is severely misrepresenting. Those sentences are real, but I am calling upon Bibi Netanyahu, the dear friend to Charlie Kirk, to publish the letter's entire contents. Like, don't start with just 2 sentences. Publish the entire thing. You're holding it. I'm saying you're severely misrepresenting the contents, that in May, Charlie was concerned about Israel and their influence on American politics and how they were pushing things that he felt were in conflict with his beliefs, free speech here in America. Bibi's holding it up like Charlie just in May said, hey, you know what? I just want to write a love letter to Israel. That's how it was presented. Would you guys agree? That's not how it happened.
And pause.
Now,
what's up?
I've kind of struggled with how I feel about the Israel and Hamas situation and Israel and fighting all these different wars. I can 100% officially say now that Israel as a state deserves to live, but I hope BB fucking rots in hell.
Literally, because he's doing too much. and he's straining the resources of his people. But I mean, hey, when you got the American government to rely on, I guess.
Well, that's what it feels like he's pushing on this Charlie thing.
He's
Like,
pushing propaganda on his death.
Yeah, and he's gonna use. He's just another person trying to use Charlie's death for his benefit. That's all he's trying to do.
That's why I was talking about the Islamists, which is wild. But
it has nothing to do with Charlie. Yeah.
Regarding that phone call and that invite, that also needs to be contextualized. And I'm going to do that. But first, Skylar, can we bring in a clip of Charlie from a month ago speaking about the kind of pressure that he was under? Because I think that will also help to further contextualize this. Take a listen.
I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megan, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been
almost
so
as if
unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith isn't allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was over.
No, they were mad because Dave Smith cooked, bro. And here's the problem. Charlie Kirk brought somebody that Dave Smith already defeated in a debate, like soundly. And all Dave Smith did was just redid what he did in a whole nother platform, a much smaller platform. But for it to be on TPUSA, yeah, they had a huge problem with Charlie Kirk doing that. Huge problem.
Allowed to, though. No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the 5th time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go. I mean, you saw it, Megan. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages. And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say the people that are attacking me are in a hyper paranoid state because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white. Okay. And you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megan. Literally, I'm trying.
I mean, damn, Charlie just say, yeah, there's Israelis out there pretty much making death threats to me just because I had Dave Smith on. There you go.
Trying to cut as much slack as I can, right? Like, okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of overcompensation spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb, right?
No, it's not defensible to be dumb, and he was under an increasing amount of pressure. Not just people telling him. Oh.
I haven't seen that clip either, but like I said, just like Monty, I've kind of fell away from Charlie Kirk's content for a little bit, and I tune in every now and then, so I don't catch every one of his live or every one of his podcast episodes.
Oh well,
Oh, nothing.
I'm upset.
Well, he's busy. He's constantly got new content coming out,
telling him that he was
sides.
not allowed to invite certain people to his events. They were threatening to pull out money. Charlie was getting a lot of really nasty text messages, and many of them pertaining to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. But Tucker Carlson was really the focus when it came to America Fest. How could Charlie allow these debates about Israel to take place? How could he allow Dave Smith, who, by the way, is Jewish, how could how could Charlie allow this other position to meet the stage? Because obviously when people start to hear the debates, what Dave Smith is saying sounds so rational, but it was up to Charlie to not allow those things to happen. And that amount of pressure towards the end, as you see that conversation he had with Meghan was just a month before he lost his life, really, I would say, reached a pinnacle of sorts on the matter of what Tucker Carlson actually said on that stage. Tucker Carlson, while he was on that stage at Turning Point, brought up Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman is a billionaire. Obviously, he is also an extremely litigious billionaire. And Bill Ackman was on Charlie about comments that Tucker Carlson had made on that stage. Tucker Carlson's
Bill Ackman, American hedge fund manager. He's 59 years old, born May 11th, 19. Oh wow, he's a Taurus like me, but net worth $9.3 billion. Yeah,
specifically asked the question, where does Bill Ackman's money come from? You know, who is this guy? Actually, who is this guy that has this much influence? And like I said, Bill Ackman was not happy about this. And so I would like to contextualize Bibi. Again, these are things Bibi brought up publicly, which he didn't have to. He didn't have to bring up the letter. He didn't have to bring up the phone call, but he chose to do this less than 24 hours after Charlie Kirk was shot. Personally, Bibi, I would have appreciated if you guys used all of your spyware, you'd spying on us for years, to maybe track down the killer. But I guess this is where you thought it was best to do a little propaganda for Israel.
So he's CEO at Pershing Square Capital Management. It is an American hedge fund based in New York City. It specializes in activist investments using influence over company management through purchasing shares and by exerting pressure on management. I mean, way to be straightforward.
Be better than us helping us track down the killer. But anyway, so Bibi Netanyahu and that phone call, what took place was a couple of weeks ago before Charlie lost his life. Charlie was in the Hamptons and he had more than one event, but he had essentially what was staged, an intervention was staged by Bill Ackman. Because Charlie's rational thoughts about Israel were a no-no. This is not the route that you should be going on. And Charlie was surrounded by his friends, his quote unquote friends. Bill Ackman was very upset and threats were made. That is what I am told. And I will tell you that I am very happy for Bill Ackman to dispute this narrative. In fact, he was asked to dispute this narrative. Max Blumenthal went out to him today, and Bill Ackman came back and said, I have receipts I can show you. And he did not provide the receipts. This is not how it went down. I know it went down this way. I'm waiting for one of them to go on record and to say that it didn't go down this way. It was at this time that Bibi Netanyahu was called and Charlie was invited to Israel. This was an under duress situation, I would say, because I've been in these situations before. When I started asking very sensible questions about Israel as someone who had dedicated her political life to supporting Israel.
Now, the reason why she's kind of connecting Bill Ackman in this is because, well, like I said, one, he does have heavy influence in Turning Point USA, you know, hedge fund manager, and he does have somewhat of allegiance to Israel. I mean, and he's Ashkenazi Jew, but Jewish, but that doesn't really, you know, mean that he's just part of this Israel conspiracy that's going around. It doesn't solidify it.
Well, many times alongside Charlie Kirk, I was met with the very same pressure. And just like Charlie was being invited to Israel, I was invited somewhere else. And when this arrived to me, it felt like a threat. You know, I got to tell you that. It felt like a threat, like not like, hey, come here and we can educate you because you're my friend. More like, this is your last chance. That's how it felt to me. I can't speak to how it felt to Charlie. And I know that Charlie was offered a ton of money in this moment, a ton of money. Bibi would fund it, you know, spend tons of money. And Turning Point, I guess, if it needed to go to a higher level, would have gone to an even higher level than it already was at. And I know for a fact that Charlie denied that funding, that Charlie denied, and what Bibi didn't include there, he declined to go to Israel for, I would describe this as like, you know, re-education camp. You know, we've seen it. You made an uh-oh, but we can help you. You know, we just need you to come out to Auschwitz and take a picture. Yeah. We just need you to come to the Holocaust Museum and take a photo. We just need you to go to Israel and we can make this better. Charlie said no to Bibi. Okay. Bill Ackman, if you would like to dispute that, I would love to hear what you say happened, because our sources and what we have, it's solid. Okay. There were conversations that took place, messages that were sent at that time, and they are solid. So I decided Another person that was there, and I am not surprised this person was there if you've been listening to my show, Seth Dillon. I was going to go to Seth Dillon, and I decided to message him last night about this Hamptons meeting. And Seth Dillon, who is normally very quick with a response, has not yet been able to respond. I'll show you this text message chain. And I want to be clear, I am not someone who normally publicizes text messages. But my friend was shot in the neck. And I'm just not really in the state right now to be polite when it comes to the answers that I am demanding. Okay. This is
Seth Dillon pretty much was as an pretty much seen as an entrepreneur and CEO at the Babylonian Bee. Is pretty much what I got on right now.
Me out to Seth Dillon last night. I sent him Bill Ackman's tweets because, he tweeted, I feel incredibly privileged to have spent a day and shared a meal with Charlie Kirk this summer. He was a giant of a man. I said, any comment on this one, Seth? He didn't answer last night. This morning I said, need a comment ASAP, please. He didn't answer. Then I followed that up and I said, trying again here, you were present when Ackman lost his mind on Charlie and when Bibi invited him to Israel and Charlie refused. Text messages immediately following this meeting are circulating. I find Ackman's statement, as though the meeting was somehow cordial, to be incredibly disturbing. Are you at all disturbed by that tweet? Do you feel, as I do, that this tweet significantly betrays the defined purpose and mood of his, and I presume your, final meeting with Charlie Kirk? ? He was unable to speak to me, but he did place some frantic calls to Turning Point USA. Yeah. You see, I went out to Seth, but I also went out to two other people who were at this meeting, and nobody is willing to go on record. They're all messaging each other, trying to figure out a coordinated response to say that, no, this was all quite cordial, but no one wants to go on record and describe it as cordial because they know someone's leaking, because someone's got a guilty conscience about what happened at the Hamptons. So I will again put it out there, Seth, Bill Ackman, and to the other individuals who I have not yet named, but who are going to be named later this week, who were at the Hamptons when Charlie was put under pressure, when Bibi Netanyahu called him and invited him to Israel.
Well, yo.
Again, in a move that when it happened to me, and it wasn't Bibi Netanyahu, felt to me like a laced threat. I am inviting you guys, I will give you my platform, actually, to come clear matters up, to tell us what really happened. Because, I think Charlie was definitely on the brink of changing some of his perspectives. And I can tell you factually, Charlie was praying the rosary. Charlie was going to mass. One of my last conversations with Charlie was me joking with him saying, just make the last step. Okay. You are, I said specifically, you're too smart to be a Protestant. Just take the last step, Charlie. And he says, ha ha. He was speaking about Mary. And typically when those steps start taking place, you stop referring to yourself, as I did, as a Judeo-Christian. Again, it is mystifying why, Bibi was out there doing the absolute most to make sure that Charlie was basically remembered as, I would argue, like a Jew, has not been yet mentioned. I didn't hear that. Erica was very clear that Charlie was a Christian. And I believe Charlie obviously was very much a Christian, and that things are not being told truthfully. In fact, I will also call upon, since we're having fun, Turning Point USA to release the audio of what Charlie Kirk, because I was in communication with Charlie at this time, because I knew exactly which donors were pressuring him and why, exactly which people that they were insisting Charlie allowed to speak at his event and why, when Charlie did not necessarily want those people to speak at his event. Okay. I'm calling upon Turning Point to release the footage of what Charlie said to Tucker Carlson before he hit the stage, before, all of that craziness and the response to Tucker Carlson's remarks played out. Charlie was mic'd. Surely Tucker Carlson was mic'd. I know Charlie's mic'd the entire time at those events. So I'm asking for everyone to just release Charlie in his own words. I feel like that's pretty fair, right? Let's stop saying how Charlie felt. And instead, if you're going to hold up the letter, release it in its entirety. Okay. Why don't you release your messages, Bill? I'll release mine. Let's all just be very forthcoming about what took place. In fact, I'm calling upon Tucker Carlson to speak about that.
Wow.
I know what Charlie said to him, and I'm sure Tucker Carlson won't lie about it. What did Charlie say to you? Dave Smith, what did Charlie say to you? What was Charlie? Did he seem like he was treading in the direction? Like, do we feel like what BB is saying is honest, a representation of what Charlie was going through? This is what I want. I think that the thing that we need here, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Now, does all of this mean that Bibi Netanyahu and that this somehow proves that Israel was involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk? No, we have no evidence of that. We can't say that because there is no evidence of that. But I don't like little lies. That's what I will say. Something that I always say in my household is when there is one lie, there's 20. There's no reason to lie. Bibi could have gone on Fox News and he could have told the truth. He could have said truthfully that Charlie Kirk has always loved Israel. He has always loved Israel as the Holy Land. He's been here many times. And throughout his career, he has been a faithful supporter of Israel. That's not what he said. Okay. He talks about the phone call and didn't give it the proper context. He held up the letter and didn't give it the proper context. And lies by severe omission, I'd like to be very clear, are lies. Lies by severe omission are lies. You're not going to gaslight us and tell us to shut up or call us anti-Semitic for pointing out the fact that Charlie was having a change of heart about the tactics that Israel was using in America, and that he felt when he had left that meeting that he had effectively been blackmailed. Again, my platform is yours, Seth Dillon. My platform is yours, Bill Ackman. So if you want to clarify it, we can do it in front of millions, okay? And I think that that's what people deserve, because everyone has PTSD. We watched Charlie get shot in the throat. That feels a little bit symbolic. It feels like they wanted us to know that his voice was problematic. Again, I don't know who they is.
And pause.
This brief break. We're going to go through the
You.
They didn't shoot him in his throat. He was going for a headshot and he missed. He was either that or he was going for a chest shot and he missed. No one aims for the throat, and to put that,
Intentionally.
yeah,
Well,
like it's not. That's not how that works. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, he could have done it for that reason, but it is a stretch. It is a reach to say a definitive.
Yeah, she's reaching.
Yeah.
She's upset and she hates Israel and she hates BB, rightfully so. Like, what she's saying has merit and has truth to it. But now we get into the part where she stretches everything and
Right.
tries to come to crazy conclusions.
Right. The whole thing though with him being shot where he was, basically, you know, in the neck where his voice comes from, and that was his most powerful aspect. It does ring very hard with symbolism. I mean, you can't deny that. But it's
No, I don't think
but-
it was an intentional thing. I think he
Right,
was
no.
trying. Yeah,
even for a sniper, they are never ever trained to shoot
Right.
somebody in the neck.
From
You know what I
200
mean?
yards, the
Right.
difference between the head, the neck, and the heart is a
Tiny.
fucking breath. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was yeah. I don't know.
But I say that because it happened in his neck, it puts a lot of symbolism on it. You know, that's where the
Absolutely.
bullet landed. Yeah.
Well, I think that's where it comes in, where God works in mysterious ways. Well,
Yeah.
think about
Yes.
it fully pulled into grasp why that man was taken away, because of he had a
Yeah.
gift to speak
So it could
and
have been,
to debate people.
I mean, hey, so it could have been a message from God or a message from
How else are you going to turn a terrible thing into something with a message?
And that's crazy. Is that the fact that you say that? So, like no one ever anytime anybody's thinking about shooting or shooting a person or shooting a target, the
Mhm.
neck is not worth extra points. It's the head or the chest. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, I think it was like you said. I think he was aiming for something, and because he missed, is the symbolism. You know, it's like I'm not a super religious person, but
Neither am
I
I.
can
But
I can foresee something like that. You know, oh, you want to make this message and shoot him in the head? Yeah, you're gonna hit him in the neck. He's still gone, but now you just made that symbolism. You
the
made it so
message
that
was amplified.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Investigation, which seems to have a lot of inconsistencies and holes in it. And we're definitely not yet at the bottom of what in fact took place. But I do know that I severely distrust people who rush to misrepresent things. And it's not a good sign when somebody has to ask you, as Greta Van Susteren asked Bibi Netanyahu in his secondary hit regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's not a good sign if somebody even has to ask if you did have anything to do with the assassination. Doesn't make you a great person, okay? And that's what she asked him. Take a listen.
Before I let you go, I want you to address one thing, and it's just the absurdity of it. Some of the internet rumors that somehow Israel is behind the Charlie Kirk murder, and I don't believe it for 1 second, but I want you to make a statement. It's so absurd.
That's insane. That's insane. Israel also changes the orbit of the moon. Israel pushes the sun. I mean, the whole thing it's not only insane.
Yeah.
I think it's so absurd, so stupid, and so ridiculous. You can't believe that people are saying that. They just found the perpetrator. They'll get to the bottom of this, but they go. They have no limits. When you hate Jews, when you hate the Jewish state, you're willing to say anything and promote all these absurd rumors. And by the way, they're willing to kill us all the time. I mean, that's what they're doing. And over the centuries, when Jews, especially in the Middle Ages, the horrific Middle Ages, the worst things were said about Jews you couldn't possibly believe. We were poisoning the wells. We were drinking the blood of Christian children. You name it. I mean, these things, that continued actually up to the Holocaust. The Nazis said the same thing. We're carrying vermin. We're spreading disease. And people believed it. And every time they believed it, this was a prelude to a greater and greater massacre, culminating with the worst massacre of them all, the Holocaust.
Well, he's mentioned the Holocaust. Guess we can't prod the narrative any further, guys. Holocaust. So everybody just stop talking about.
Hold on. Because now the chat's going wild because apparently I'm a sniper. No, it's just an understanding of windage elevation from an elevated position. Like I respect that you've taught 10,000 people how to shoot a gun. You would agree with me that a 22-year-old, no matter how much training they have, even a trained sniper, no matter how much training they have, they can make mistakes. They can make things because all right.
But don't
if
you want to hold on, Monty? But don't you think it was close enough to where he probably could have placed the bullet wherever he wanted? People are saying like 200 yards or so.
200 yards. 200 yards
good scope is not far at all.
What's that?
With a good scope, 200 yards is not far at all.
No, not far at all. I mean, but here's the thing: is that scope zeroed, or
most likely
not zeroed? Zeroed well enough at 200 yards that there's no mistakes. Like you need a professional
he had
to
a
zero
while.
that.
He would think about it. They said he was planning this for a while.
That's true, and
I was out there test shooting it, or most likely.
I mean, everything. Obviously, I'm saying is an assumption. I'm also putting in a likely scenario that he missed his shot and still completed his mission. Like it's not a stretch. It's not jumping through mental gymnastics to get to that point. It's people can miss shots. He took one shot. That's it. There was no follow-up shots. The Kennedy assassination had follow-up shots. The Trump assassination had follow-up shots. He took one shot, got the result that he wanted, and ran. Like I like the the idea that it's plausible that he missed by a couple of inches at 200 yards is not crazy.
I mean, that is well, all right. Well, we're not saying that's crazy, but people are trying to say that, well, you're acting like, you couldn't have pinpointed it, but who knows?
That's like the people that say that Trump's assassination was staged because the assassin pinpointed Trump's ear. But
Which
like
is
that's the
also
same
wild.
kind of argument. Like, you don't understand how bullet trajectory works. Like, he understands nothing about windage or not windage, but wind in that equation. He's not up there with a fucking barometer and measuring the curvature of the earth to make a perfect shot placed exactly lateral to the neck, superior to the clavicle. Like, no, he put his silhouette in his crosshairs and pulled the trigger, got what he wanted, and ran. Like,
But all right.
that's
all right, guys, let's keep it going. He said he didn't measure the Earth's curvature to make a shot, guys. Like, come on now.
Anything. I mean, hey, he's the victim. It's absurd. It's just absurd. The Holocaust happened. You heard him. We're sick of this shit.
Damn.
We really are. And there will be no narrative that I will not prod when it comes to figuring out why people are lying about the state that Charlie was in when it came to the topic of Israel. Again, you can examine Charlie in his own words. He was starting to talk about topics that you're not really allowed to talk about when you take money and big checks are being written. That pressure was increasing every single day. In fact, he was telling the truth even about Jeffrey Epstein. Take a listen.
Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, but there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket, the kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the clouds that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just a hired gun. Maybe he was just the guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being blackmailed. The Epstein playbook is being used on a daily basis. Jeffrey Epstein was not a financier. He was not a hedge fund manager. Jeffrey Epstein was a key player in a multi-decade blackmail operation against the most powerful people on the planet.
Well, out of all people.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean,
don't know. It seems to come.
I ain't gonna lie, my jaw would have dropped if I'd have heard that live. I'd have been like, "Are you? Who am I listening to? This can't be Charlie. This can't be Charlie, bro. This is defender of Israel. Israel can do no wrong, guy. Like, who am I listening to? Oh yeah, I wouldn't have been able to believe it. I'm actually happy he was turning in the right direction.
Conflict with BB's narrative a little bit, yeah, just a tiny bit. I do want to say this. It's important because I am angry. I will obviously. I pray to move on from this phase, but it's a fire in my belly right now. To those of you who think that you are going to replace Charlie Kirk, okay? Kings are born. You don't just get to depose and tell us that we're going to follow this individual, okay? I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA. You put a shill in Charlie Kirk's chair, in Charlie Kirk's company, and you try to tell us to follow that individual, I will be an enemy of you. There will be nothing that can stop me. Okay. And I want you guys to understand, this is not a threat. This is a promise. There will be nothing that can stop me I will release every single text
Oh, we know, Candace. We've seen what you did with Brigitte Macron, and we know.
message. So to those of you who are trying that, I'm seeing the messages. I am telling you to back off right now.